As you can see, I got some little toys I'm playing with up here, but no, on a serious note, I am so happy to be back. I have some explaining to do, obviously, so I'm gonna do a lot of that as I go on throughout the episode, but I just wanted to come on here, address my absence and apologize for my lack of consistency, not only to listeners, but to myself as well. Um, because mainly I left the impression that there was not going to be um the inconsistent, and I communicated things confidently before I myself was truly confident in the things that I was saying, and I can take accountability for that. And I don't want to make that a habit. I just want to acknowledge my humanity in this process of being a podcaster, creating a platform, um, drawing in listeners who are eager and excited about the things that I have to say, um, and what that really truly means. I think it's just all really new for me, and there's been a lot of discovery throughout this process. And yeah, I remember, if I'm not mistaken, the last time I stopped off, I said that I wanted to go into the vulnerability series. And I've come to the conclusion that I don't want to do series anymore. I think that I just want to be able to have free thought when I come to this platform, because I find that I don't do well with structured creativity. And maybe down the line I may be able to do some series and more targeted content, but for now I think that I just want to do what I want to do. And I think that that deserves a little bit of this. Only because it took a lot of humility as well as honesty to come to that conclusion. Um, because at the end of the day, this is my podcast and I can do with it what I please. And if people gravitate to it, people gravitate to it. And if they don't, they don't. But I think that focusing on the outcome is what puts me in a box that makes me feel like I am restricted and I can't do the things that I want to do. So, by removing those boxes myself, the boxes that I put up, let's start there. But look, yeah, because who told me to do that? But I'm learning to lean into a more growth mindset where I focus on what I do have versus focusing on things that I don't. And with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and transition forward to the rest of this episode because I'm really excited about what I'm talking about. We're going to deep dive into fear because I feel like I dealt with a lot of that over this break, and I've just had a lot of enlightening conversations with family and been gaining a lot of insightful wisdom through, my biblical devotionals and just the media and the things that I've been consuming have all been really targeted towards pushing me to truly sit with and deal with how fear shows up in my life and how I can navigate through fear. And I want to share that learning with my audience as well as share, some lessons that I feel like I'm currently actively learning, because I do want to make this a space not only for people to come listen to honesty and inspiration, but also to, provide community for people who may feel like they're alone, because I know I have moments like that. And I hope that through sharing my story and sharing my experiences and my lessons, the things that I'm gaining from being a young Black and gifted and educated and fearless woman of God. um, and yeah, just what that journey, what my journey, and what many countless others' journeys, what we all have in common. I would love to create a space for us to come and commune and feel together. I really just want to focus on fear because it's been a reoccurring theme that I've just been trying to get a deeper understanding of and navigate, figure out where it shows up and how I want it to show up in my life, and taking back control over the fear instead of allowing fear to have control over me. And through that, the way that society breeds us and socializes us to think in the constructs and the concepts that we are encouraged to accept as humans oftentimes are fear based mindset, and the things that are valued and considered normal and appropriate are often fear based mindsets. I'll use an example of myself. I remember growing up, I oftentimes used to get into it with but no, on a serious note, I used to get into it with them because my mom would always say, like, Jasmine, you're so negative. You're so negative. Like, the way you're speaking is so negative. And it used to just get under my skin. Ugh, could not stand it. Could not stand it. And I never thought I would grow out of it. And I just wanted the woman to leave me alone at the time. But she was really giving me wisdom at the time. And that I was a realist. Like, I just don't optimistically go through the world thinking everything's going to be rainbows and sunshine because I know that it's not. That was my mindset. I definitely thought it. And I was like, yeah, you're tripping. If you think I'm about to walk around here with a smile on my face every day, you're just tripping. Like, life does not work that way. And I realized that that was just a coping mechanism that I had developed because of my trauma. But I chose to view the world through what is called the negativity bias, which we all possess, but some of us interact with it differently. But I chose to see the world through a prism of negativity because, in my mind, it was the way to prevent myself from disappointment, from hurt, sadness, loneliness, etc. And it took me a long time to really peel that back and uncover that realization that came from my sadness, that mindset came from my hurt, and it was my way of protecting myself. And that it's actually fairly common. Like, I'm sure somebody listening to this can possibly relate to that mindset, at least on a level, even if it wasn't to that extent. And knowing that humans, it really encouraged me to want to develop a new relationship with fear that didn't allow me to always be in a present state of defense and present state of waiting for, as they say, the other shoe to drop. And an ongoing process. Not about to get up here and act like I've just had this spiritual enlightenment that has completely done a 180 on my life. But I do think that I'm finding that the little ways that life is improving reflect the big ways that life could improve if I'm consistent. And yeah, that was a little bit of a personal excerpt, but where I was going with that is just that I've been, I'll give you an example of where I'm at presently. I am currently applying to law school, and I have not felt fear like this in a really long time. not gonna lie to you, and I haven't really even expressed it to a lot of my family or just close people to me just because I that's not easy for me. But I've just been trying to navigate through it, like I said, and the reoccurring word that I have been really trying to is courage. And to me, courage just means going forth in spite of fear. Exhibiting courage is not in the absence of fear, it's actually in the presence of fear and choosing to not let fear hold you back or, get in the way of you going after whatever that it said thing is you are attempting to go after. And man, it has been an ongoing battle because with every application, with every scholarship, with every requirement that is required throughout this process, as well as a level of, and that requires a lot of grounding, it requires a lot of patience and mercy and grace and love and a number of other things that I didn't see coming, put it that way. I didn't know it was gonna bring all this up. I really didn't. All these things, my past, my my triumphs, my failures. How do I see myself? It was a lot, and it made me wanna share my story because I just know that this is not a law school application singular process. Whether it's applying for a new job, quitting a job to start your own business, navigating through relationships, platonic, romantic, familial, all of the above, coworkers, you know, everyday life, everyday decisions, people have to deal with fear. And not even adult specific, because minors experience it too. When we are an adult, you experience it on a different level, obviously, because you don't have a safety net as much as you do when you're a minor, or you can. I won't say you do, because not everybody does, but not as likely. You're not as likely to have that safety net as when you are a minor. And because of that, it makes me want to encourage people to really do a self check in, self analysis of ways that you recognize fear is impeding your growth, your evolution, and your prosperity. And I know for me, a lot of my fear is connected to my past. I actually don't even fear my future outside of the context of my past. So, for example, I when I was choosing my undergraduate program, what school I was trying to go to, I made that decision primarily based off of out external influence, put it that way. I was influenced from the outside to then make a decision about my life and not to blame those external influences because at the end of the day it was still my decision, but I realized that I didn't want to make the same mistake I made back then with making decisions about my life based off of the perception of me from others. I wanted to make sure that I made a decision that I was going to be happy with, that I made for me without any external influence telling me what I should and shouldn't do. And it's not that I didn't want any external influence because I can appreciate wisdom, but I just wanted it to be more targeted, career focused external influences, meaning I didn't want it to be my manager at my receptionist job telling me what I should do in law school. No shade to my manager. I wanted it from a mentor, someone who's done the process, who's gone down the path, not someone who may care, may be invested even in my journey, but doesn't have the credentials to give me the guidance that I need right now. And there's nothing wrong with that because people tend to do that. They just want to support. They want to let you know that, hey, if you need me, reach out. I'm here. Ask me, but I can appreciate that. But because people, especially certain people in my life's opinions, are so valuable to me, I had to recognize that it became hard to decide whose voice I was listening to. Am I listening to external? Am I listening to God? Am I listening to myself? And at 23, I'm able to learn from my mistake at 17, 18 years old and see like, okay, I want to do better. When I make this decision for my next chapter, I want to make sure I know I'm in control of the decision making because that way I can be as confident as I need to be going forward. And it's so funny because I thought that that was going to give me my confidence. I thought that being in control was going to give me my confidence, but all it really did was expose the fear that I was harboring from my past and the fear that I was harboring from mistakes that I made. And I had to really do some meditation and devotionals and really just tap in with my spiritual side and get grounded in my because it made me realize that the reason why I had so much fear in my life is because I was lacking love and that love and fear don't coexist. And I'm going to get into love and fear not coexisting and all those types of concepts, even the negativity bias. I'm going to go over all these things. So I really do hope that you stay tuned. I think that there's a lot of good stuff that I have coming up. But and I hope you share because I promise you, it's gonna be some gems of wisdom. But all that to say, I want to be an example of how your journey may not be conventional, and you may not feel like I followed the cookie cutter plan, but that anything that you desire, anything that you want is attainable, but you can't do it without being grounded in love. And being grounded in love doesn't start anywhere else but between you and your maker. And it really does start from inside. It doesn't come from the outside. And when you accept that self-love and just love period is always going to be the way to combat fear. It's going to give you the best playbook for navigating fear that you could ever get. And I'm going to leave it at that because going any further, it's going to be a while. It's going to be another 20 minutes up. I just wanted to leave you with that. And again, stay tuned. A lot of this is going to be about ways fear shows up, ways people with a history of generational trauma, marginalized communities, how those things can affect your ability to navigate fear, and talk about some tricks, tips on how to navigate fear. And we're just going to leave you with not only wisdom, but also applicable lessons that I've learned that I hope that you can apply in your life to help you navigate fear as well. And again, I'm no professional. Okay. I'm not a professional, sweetie. So this is just things that have been put on my heart that I want to share. And if they resonate with you, that brings me so much joy. And I would love for you to share your stories and your experiences and how the things I say resonate with you. Because that always makes doing this so much more fulfilling. I also want anyone hearing this to be able to share it. And with that, I'm going to see you next time. I am excited. It's a little late at night, so if I sound a little bit mellow, it's because I'm trying not to be too hype. I don't live alone. But yeah, I'm excited. So you guys get excited because we're gonna be talking about some things. But no, for real, I hope you guys have a beautiful rest of your day, beautiful rest of your week, and thanking the Lord for another day.
I just want to express my gratitude for you taking time out of your day to share this space with me. I hope this episode was meaningful and you leave feeling enriched. I appreciate you for being a part of this community of listeners. I hope you gain some fulfillment out of your day. Please do not forget to go follow us here and on all social media platforms. You can find us on Instagram at the platform LTAI podcast and Twitter at the platform LTAI. Also, share any episodes that you enjoyed with loved ones. I appreciate any help getting this community to grow. Sending positivity your way, this is your host, Jasmine, signing off. Stay safe, stay well, and farewell.